Hey guys, welcome to the Tone Show. My name is Anthony Tone Show Nunez, and today I'm discussing The Old Guard. Would it have been better if it was a TV show? Let's talk about it. So the points that I want to cover today are why I think this would have made a better TV show than a movie are definitely character development. I want to talk about the budget and the aesthetics of this movie, and I also want to talk about the plot. A Netflix film. It's directed by Gina Prince-Bythewood, who you probably know as from Love and Basketball. While researching this, I saw that she's actually working on two films. One of them is Silver Sable, and the other one is Black Cat. So a lot of cool things in Gina Prince-Bythewood's future, and this is going to be a spoilerific type of thing we're gonna do here, because I'm gonna discuss why would The Old Guard be a better TV show than it is a movie. So to do that, I gotta discuss the movie. So you've been warned, there's gonna be spoilers here. Written by Greg Rucka. Yes, the same Greg Rucka from the comic book. So The Old Guard is starring Charlize Theron as Andy. We have KiKi Layne as Niles Freeman. We have Matthias Schoenaerts as Booker. We also have Luca Marinelli as Nikki. Marwan Kenzari as Joe. We have Chiwetel Ejiofor. He's always good in everything he does. Chiwetel Ejiofor playing James in this movie. And we also have Harry Melling. Harry Melling is playing like the most evil farmer bro on the planet. I wonder if he was influenced by somebody we know. So that's who's in the film. Now the film itself, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. It was a good action film. I think Charlize Theron, she doesn't get enough credit for her action movies. Just while I was filming this, I read the news that Charlize Theron was not going to be appearing in the prequel for Mad Max. They actually decided to go with a younger actress, and I think it's a big fail for the movie because Charlize Theron was one of the best things about Mad Max. I feel like her Furiosa character was amazing, and she brought that amazing that you got to just watch her on screen. The same thing that I enjoyed in Atomic Blonde, Charlize Theron has in full presence right here as Andy in this movie, and she's just someone who's very enjoyable to watch as an actress. So as far as the characters, these characters are immortal, or they're basically immortal gods if you think about them. They're warriors who've lived through so many years, and these characters doesn't even remember how old she is. That's how long she's been around. So the fact that these characters have such a long history, a history that mostly is just talked about. You see very few flashbacks, and later on in the film, you learn through the images that he's finding and putting together to research the team, that he's found out through history they've been around and they've been basically doing a lot of good, which has been reciprocal for the human race. But all this good could be greatly shown in a TV show. Just think about it. Every year, every decade, you cover it in a season of the show. So instead of this movie cramming all that history in this movie and really glossing over it, because this is a film, they really couldn't get into the nitty gritty about every decade or really develop the characters. Like if this had been a TV show, we could have gone into each character. Each character could have gotten a couple episodes, and we could see their past, because these are four people who've lived God knows how many years. And every year could be explored in depth in a TV show. In this movie, all we basically got was a couple references to how old they were, and they made a couple jokes here and there, but we really didn't get into the character themselves. Like we could develop so much about the characters if we can break it down into a TV show. So Harry Melling, who plays the evil farmer bro in this movie, think about it. We could have gotten some backstory, like why is he so evil? What's brought him to this point? What are the things? How did he develop the drugs that he developed for cancer that he mentioned in this film to make people better? So that could have been broken down into a couple episodes, and it would have led up to making the Merrick character so much more interesting than basically someone. I feel like he was glossed over. A lot of this movie had to be glossed over because of the length and time, the runtime of this movie, and he could have so much more character development, not just for Charlize Theron's character, but for her team and for the villain Merrick. We really didn't see Merrick, like where he was coming from and why he had to do this crazy thing. And also James, we could have delved more into the whole thing that happened with his wife and ALS and the terrible tragedy in his life that made him think that capturing these immortals would be good for the human race. So that's something that could be broken down furthermore if we had episodes and seasons rather than cramming it all into a movie. Something something else that I feel like was crammed was basically the aesthetics. This is a movie, but it feels like a Netflix movie. Like the budget, the budget feels more like a TV show budget, honestly. From looking at you got so many like aerial shots, all these drone shots of these cities. I know it's supposed to give you an idea of the scale. So all the aerial shots are supposed to make you feel like this is a big budget movie. But honestly, it felt like a TV show. It felt like a TV show to me. It didn't feel like a movie, honestly. And I really think it goes back to the budget and the way that it was shot. Now, I think the action was amazing in this. And I think I would never say that this is lacking in action. This was definitely an action movie. But for a superhero movie, we didn't really get the build up that I think if you had given more money to the production for them to basically take their time and basically show you something a little bit more grandiose, which I don't think we got here. So I feel like the aesthetics of the whole movie felt very grounded, like a TV show aesthetic. It felt like something you see on USA, honestly, as far as the money. Even though they had helicopters and planes, it still felt very much like a TV show. And I'm going to talk about more about the plot now. So the plot that was given was a very TV show plot. Come on. You have 4 mortals, and God knows how many princesses and kings and emperors they had to face. And basically the plot was that they were kidnapped by this mega pharma bro who's evil. And they were being used for DNA research. Like, that plot's a very TV show plot. Come on. If this was not a movie, you would have been able to explore that just in a couple of episodes. But the fact that this was a movie and that was the plot, I feel like it's very lacking. Like, this definitely should have been explored in more episodes, like I said. And again, this has to do more with the fact that you're cramming all this in, and this is the main villain you chose for the plot, Merrick. I just feel like you should have basically worked your way up to a big villain. There should have been a couple of small villains that were thrown in the movie, and then you get to Merrick. But there was these movies usually have like an evil super soldier or like an evil immortal that's facing them, like some type of Highlander situation. And I know at the end it cut to the fact that her friend is probably back and she's gonna be the villain. The way they set this up for a sequel was basically like, we know we're gonna make a sequel. That's another reason I feel like this would have been a great TV show, because it's something you could have delved into in 12 episodes or a season. And then in season 2, her friend comes back and now you have to face her friend. So that's another reason I feel like this definitely felt like it was lacking from a movie aspect. They cram so much in and they gloss over character development for like really cool gunfights. And this movie has so many cool like action moves. The movie definitely hit the action, I think, pinnacle. But honestly, the plot, it could have been built up so much more if they had a couple movies. And since a couple movies is such a costly thing to produce, especially when there's no box office, I think if you had a TV show, it's something you can explore. I think Netflix has done a great job with the Umbrella Academy, and this being a superhero action show, I think it would have been fell right in there in that same zone as Umbrella Academy if this was a TV show. And the same thing, I think the plot would have been more suited to a TV show. In a movie, you just expect higher stakes, and we just didn't get those higher stakes here. So what do you think? Do you think this made a good movie, or you think, you know what, this would have been much better explored in a series like I'm talking about in a TV show? Put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Put it in the comments. Leave me a comment. Hit the like button. The YouTube algorithm loves that, and the Tone Show loves that. As always, guys, this is the Tone Show. Tone Show. Ooh.